Hey, what is happening with you in the mug there? What's going on with your face? My hair is still ridiculous. There's nothing I can do about it. I think I ate something and it went up into my skull and all this shit came out. I go out in public like this. I don't know how long it's going to be till I get arrested just for walking around with this thing on my fucking head. Hi, I hope you're okay. It's Nick Digilio, that's me. And thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. Subscribe, it's free. Tell your mom, tell your uncle. I know he's a dick, but tell him anyway. I've done like over 135 videos, so scroll down and watch to your heart's content. Leave all kinds of comments. Most importantly, though, go to patreon.com, okay? Patreon.com/NickDShow. Go there right now, make a monthly donation, become a patron, get bonus videos and bonus material. I just cut a video just for the donators and just for the patrons. So do that now. It's like, you know what you're doing right now at Patreon? If you're watching this and you haven't donated, you're one of those people that watches Sesame Street without donating. So not only do you not get a tote bag, but you're a dick. So there you go. Donate to Patreon. It's an unbelievable website that helps artists and people put up their art and their music and their work and their videos and their stories. And it is helped along by you. So patreon.com/NickDShow. Go there now. Donate. Thank you. My podcast is the Nick D Podcast, Radio Misfits Podcast Network. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Okay, I have been a Chicago film critic for over 35 years, with about a year and a half break there for a little while after I got canned at GN and went through a period of time when I needed to get my shit together. But I'm back full on in reviewing movies here on this YouTube channel, on Patreon, and on my Nick D Podcast with my two colleagues from the Chicago Film Critics Association, Steve Procopi and Eric Childress. I've known these guys for years. I've been doing the movie critic stuff for over 35 years, as I've said, well over 35 years. I started reviewing movies officially on Roy Leonard's show in 1985. Yeah, that long ago. In 1985 on WGN, and have written about movies and reviewed them on the radio. Sometimes I've done them, on TV. I wrote for The Reader in New City, and I used to edit a thing at an encyclopedia, film encyclopedia annual at Cinebooks in Evanston. And I've been a movie freak since birth, basically. So I am a movie fanatic, a movie critic, and I'm a proud member of the Chicago Film Critics Association, which has been around for many years, and I have been there since the beginning. Lots of people who are a little bit younger than me, including Eric Childress. Eric's about 10 years younger than I am. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, I kind of got Eric into the I kind of guided him into the world of professional film criticism in Chicago. I think I brought him to his first screening ever, his first private critic screening. I believe it was Scream 3 at the wonderful Lake Street screening room. And since then, he's taken off. He's one of the producers and programmers of this festival that I'm about to talk about. Brian Tallarico's another guy. He's the other producer. And Steve Procopi and so many other people. Colin Suter, my old buddy Colin Suter, who reviewed movies with me on my show for many years. Peter, the great Dan Geyer, who was film critic for the Daily Herald, who I've known since, he's been doing it longer than I have, and I've known him since I started. Been a great mentor and a great guy and a terrific reviewer. I met his daughter for the first time, Morgan. She's a lovely human being and lots of fun to talk about. She does a podcast with Eric Childress called The Friendship Dilemma, which is on Now Playing Network podcasts. And she also has worked with the Factory Theater. I met her over the weekend for the first time at the festival. And the festival that I'm talking about is this thing. It is right there. It's the 9th annual Chicago Critics Film Festival. 9th annual. They gave me a press pass because I'm press. I was trying to be like Curly. Press, and then I pulled a pull. I had a pull. See? Stooges. Geniuses. So anyway, this is a week-long festival that's been put together by these guys, my colleagues and my friends who put it together. And this is the first time I've ever really been able to spend a significant amount of time there because I'm not working full-time. I don't have a fucking job. Anyway, so I've been going to this, and I went this weekend, and it started on Friday, which was opening night, and I went to that, and I went Saturday. It is now Sunday morning, and I'm going to go today. I'm going all day today. I'm seeing 4 films, I think, total today at the festival. Yes, I am. I have the schedule right in front of me. Today is Sunday, May 5th, and I am going May 15th. I'm going to see Both Sides of the Blade, Benediction, Hold Your Fire, and Piggy. Those are the 4 films. But I have seen 6 films total, and I want to do a quick review of it. First of all, let me just say this. I could not be more proud of my friends and my colleagues who are running this festival. Except for Dan, I'm older than most of them. I think all of them. And I've been doing this for longer than they have. And I, it's when the festival started, I thought it was a fantastic idea. I plugged the hell out of it every single year on my radio show. They've gotten incredible, impressive guests in the past. People like William Friedkin and Aubrey Plaza came in, Sarah Polley. They get directors, they get writers, they get actors, they get producers, people who participate in these movies. And the movies that they choose, that these guys choose, and they're all chosen by film critics, and this is the only festival, the only film festival in the world that is put together and programmed by film critics. And these guys, led by Eric and Brian and Colin and, Steve and Peter and all these other guys, they attend a lot of film festivals during the course of the year, early parts of the year, later parts of the year. So they see a lot of movies that sometimes we never get to see, or they see them way ahead of us. So they go to Toronto, they go to the Sundance Film Festival, they go South by Southwest. So all of these Midwest Film Festivals, they go to all of these famous film festivals, they see these movies, and if they like them, they program them for the Chicago Film Critics Fest, for the Critics Festival. And that's how they do it. They spot these movies, and 95% of the time, they're movies that you've never seen before. Sometimes they never even get released. Sometimes they come out months after they premiered at the Chicago Critics Film Festival. And many times, like I said, they bring in some incredibly impressive guests. Like this year, for instance, lots of directors and filmmakers and some of the people that were in the movies are coming in. On closing night, practically the entire cast of this movie called I Love You, Dad or I Love My Dad is on Thursday night, closing night. Patton Oswalt is going to be there for the Q&A afterwards. And the guys who do the Q&A do them intelligently and beautifully. My old friend Colin Suter, he programs the shorts presentations. He loves short films, so he programs and puts together 2 different shorts presentations, and then gets the filmmakers and the directors and the actors and actresses to come along, and he does a great Q&A with that stuff. Older movies are screened. Last night at midnight, they screened Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was the Francis Ford Coppola directed version, at midnight. And my buddy Peter, who loves that movie for some inexplicable reason, wanted to show it. He did the introduction. They had a really nice crowd for it. I left before it started because that movie's a piece of shit. But anyway, so they do that. And they're also doing tomorrow night, Monday night the 16th, at 7 o'clock, they are doing a 25th anniversary screening of the greatest director that's working today, Paul Thomas Anderson's second movie, Boogie Nights from 1997. It's the 25th anniversary. It's on 35 millimeter. It'll be projected beautifully in the wonderful Music Box Theater. By the way, I didn't mention, all of these screenings, and the whole event takes place at the beautiful Music Box Theater. It couldn't be a better venue to have this. So, it's great, okay? Great classic screenings, great Q&As, great guests, and new movies that have been chosen by my colleagues and my friends. And let me just say this. I am not only impressed and stunned and not stunned, I shouldn't be stunned, because they're smart, they're cool, they're awesome people. Awesome people. But I'm incredibly impressed by not only the film choices. I've seen 6 of the films, and 5 of them are definitely worth seeing. A couple of them are fucking amazing. Only one is a stinker so far. Of the 6 that I've seen, I only hate one, and unfortunately it was their opening night film. But I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, I'm not only impressed by the varying stuff that they're showing. They're heavy into horror this year. Horror, baby. So not only am I impressed by the varying styles, from animated to documentaries to dramatic to comedy to serious, to not so serious, to horror, to thriller. They cover every type of genre and every type of movie. So not only am I impressed by the way that they programmed it and the films that they've chosen, but this thing has been run so beautifully for the past 2 nights, on opening night and on last night, by guys who are there for hours. All the guys that I've mentioned, all the women that I've mentioned, they're there for hours. Doing a lot of stuff, keeping it running, taking tickets, taking ballots from people because they have an audience vote on what they think, what the audience thinks are the best films. All of this stuff is done, organized beautifully by these people, by the Chicago Film Critics, and run magnificently by the management and the staff. Say hello to the fucking staff of the Music Box while you're there. Tip them when you go to the concession stand. Tip them. They got a wonderful little cafe, not a cafe, but a bar in the other room, a lounge, where they have all kinds of drink specials and all kinds of really cool things if you're into that. It's a great place to hang out. It's a great place to see movies. It's a great place to meet people. It's just fantastic. And everything that the Chicago Film Critics are doing is brilliant, and they're doing it so beautifully well. Like, I am just so unbelievably fucking impressed by the way it's been run by the film critics, by the way these guys have been putting it together. I'm impressed, and I'm proud, and I'm happy for my colleagues and my friends. So anyway, it's a great festival. It's a phenomenal festival. It runs through Thursday, and I will give you another video with reviews. But let me give you quickly the 6 films that I've seen thus far at the 9th Annual Chicago Critics Film Festival. Okay? All right. Cha-Cha Real Smooth was their opening night film. And Cooper Raiff was there for a Q&A. He is the writer, the director, and the star of the film. And I hate him. So we're going to move on really quickly. But Dakota Johnson is in this movie, who I love, and she's great. Brad Garrett is in it. Leslie Mann is in it. And it's about this guy in his early 20s, played by Cooper Raiff, who's not only the star, but the writer and the director. Anyway, he plays this guy who's searching for, balance in his life. He's kind of living at home with his mom and his brother and their stepdad, played by Brad Garrett, who's doing his finest work here since Jimmy John's. So he is this guy trying to find, focus on his life, and he meets this woman, played by Dakota Johnson, who's got a daughter who is autistic and has special needs. And he meets this woman, played by Dakota Johnson, kind of falls in love with her, and he becomes a party starter at bar mitzvahs and other events. So he's like a DJ party starter. And he falls in love with Dakota Johnson, and stuff ensues. This movie's not for me. I guess it's a 20-something. It's a movie for 20-somethingers, but I don't think when I was 22 or 23 I was as annoying and as big an asshole as the character in this movie is. Anyway, I hated it. It's not meant for me, and I mostly hated it because I found this Cooper Raiff guy, to be insufferable. He basically has written a love letter to himself, which he directed, making himself look as cute and as lovely and as brilliant as possible, and as many close-ups as possible. And he gives himself Dakota Johnson as his love interest, so he gets to make out with Dakota Johnson and do all these. And he's like, the character is insufferable. And the ego on display by this filmmaker, by this actor, and by this writer is astonishing. I fucking hated the movie. Dakota Johnson's great, the movie's not. However, it was a huge success for the film critics, and I'm happy for that. The place was packed. I didn't stay for the Q&A because the last thing I wanted to do was listen to that fucking guy talk more. I got the hell out of there and went to D'Agostino's and got a slice. My old school pizza place. I grew up eating that stuff. Went to D'Agostino's, had a slice of pizza, came back for the next movie. The next movie was called Watcher. And Watcher is this film directed by Chloe Okundo, who is making her feature-length film debut. She's done a lot of shorts, and she did a segment with rats and rat monsters in the last VHS movie. And this movie stars Maika Monroe, who you've seen in many things. If you're a horror fan, you know her from It Follows. She plays an actress who has moved to Bucharest with her husband for work, and they get into this new apartment, and she notices there's a guy across the street who just sits at the window and seemingly stares at her and watches her. Meanwhile, there's a series of murders going on. Women are getting their heads cut off and their necks sliced. So the movie is about the paranoia that this actress, who's left alone a lot because her husband's working a lot, so she's in this apartment in this foreign country, and she feels completely alone and alien and displaced. And meanwhile, there's a murderer running around, and there's a dude across the street watching her. And it is a terrific, tightly wound thriller. It's a tribute to, like Hitchcock and Darren Aronofsky, but especially Roman Polanski. There's a lot of The Tenant in this movie. There is a lot of Repulsion and a lot of Rosemary's Baby. All of that stuff from the 60s and early 70s that Polanski was doing is really the tribute here. It is a tightly wound thriller. It's very suspenseful. It's really creepy. It'll get your heart racing a little bit. Beautifully done, and a full-on salute to Polanski of the 60s and that weird sort of alienation feel that you have when you're alone in a foreign country, especially if you're a woman. And then the last 15 minutes is fucking terrifying. It's called Watcher. It is getting a release. It'll be playing, I believe, at the Music Box, I think, in a few weeks. Terrific movie. Great film. Okay, that was followed up with the first midnight show of the weekend, and that was Speak No Evil, which is an insane Danish black comedy that turns into a horrifying exercise in extreme terror. It is about a family that's on vacation in Tuscany. They meet another family, just briefly, a married couple with a son. They are a married couple with a daughter. They meet. They have dinner together in Tuscany, very briefly, and then a few weeks later after the vacation, they receive a letter from this couple and the daughter saying, hey, you should come out and to the rural part of, the Danish rural area and spend a weekend with us at our house, and we'll have dinner and we'll go out and it'll be great. And so they're a little weirded out by this because they barely know them, and they want them to come and spend like a week with them. So, but they say yes. So it's like these strangers that they just met on this vacation. They go to their house, and some weird shit starts happening. The son was born without a tongue or with a small tongue. The little kid, probably about 6 or 7 years old, so they get to the house, and then weirdness starts. And weirdness is when you meet, some people or a couple or a family, especially a couple, who seem a little fucking weird and you don't want to say anything. Like, how far do you go before you can't be, you can't be pleasant, before you start getting rude, before you start going, okay, you're fucking weird, your behavior is weird, your family is weird, and we should not be staying in your house because we don't know you, and this is incredibly uncomfortable. So all of that you've ever felt, and if you've ever met someone like on a vacation or you met some people socially who are a little too much, who are a little too grabby, who make you completely uncomfortable, this movie digs into that. And for the first 2/3, it's hilarious. It's a great black comedy about, basically, the message is don't make friends with anybody as an adult, because everybody's a fucking weirdo. What happens in the last third of this movie is fucking horrifying. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Speak No Evil. It's insane. It'll test your balls a little bit, but I say see it. And again, I was the only one in the theater laughing. I laughed for most of the running time of the movie until it gets really twisted and fucked up and insane and intense in the last 20 minutes. So anyway, that's called Speak No Evil. Awesome. That was the next day, Saturday. They showed Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and this is a feature-length film based on the classic shorts that have been making their way, through the internet and all over the place. And it's about a shell that lives in this world, and it talks with a little voice, and the voice is provided by the beautiful, the wonderful, the amazingly talented Jenny Slate, who created this character along with her co-writer and director, Dean Fleischer-Camp. Dean Fleischer-Camp also appears in this movie as a filmmaker. And this movie, it's a feature-length film featuring Marcel, and it's a documentary about Marcel's life and how Marcel is sad and wants to be reunited with his family. Isabella Rossellini provides the voice of Marcel's grandmother. It's funny, it's weird, it's quirky. If you find Marcel the Shell to be charming and wonderful, and if you don't, you're not human. You have no fucking heart. And if you like Marcel, everything that you love about Marcel, the shorts, the weirdness, the beauty, the cuteness, the adorableness, it's all there and more. It's a beautiful movie. It made me cry. I loved it. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On comes out theatrically in June. Okay, the next movie, it's called To Leslie. It is a movie that's based on a true story, the personal story of the writer. The writer's name is Ryan Benacco. Ryan Benacco. He wrote the screenplay, and it's based on the story of him and his mother. His mother, and this is what the movie's about, in Texas, won the lottery. She won like almost $200,000 at the lottery. Alcoholic, teenage son. She was young when she had him. And she ends up blowing all the money, and she's a full-blown alcoholic. Fucks up every relationship she's ever had, especially the relationship. She's completely damaged the relationship she's had with her now. The film opens up 6 years after she wins the money, blows it all, and now she's in the gutter. She's in the trenches of alcoholism, and she's pretty much severed any kind of relationships that she's had. Any kind of relationships that she's had. Excuse me. COVID. No, I'm kidding. No. Any kind of relationships that she's had, especially the relationship with her son, who is now 20 and working construction, wanted to be a musician, had all these hopes and dreams. She had all these hopes and dreams, won all this money in the lottery, blew it all, fucked up her life, diving deep into alcoholism. And this is a movie about this woman's life, the destruction of all the relationships she's ever had, and the deep, horrible alcoholism that she is now a victim of. And how she is kind of rescued by Mark Maron, who plays a guy who runs a hotel, along with Bubble from The Wire. Motherfucking Bubs is in it. Haven't seen Bubble from The Wire in a long time. Anyway, Mark Maron run this hotel, and they decide to throw her a bone because she's in a bad way, hire her as a maid and to help out around. They'll give her room and board. And she tries to get her life together, and that's what the movie's about. The movie is about second chances. It's about this woman who has been destroyed by the disease of alcoholism, and her, and she thinks she's a piece of shit. And it's about hopefully getting this second chance, and it's about people that you meet along the way, like Mark Maron, who will help you get that second chance. And it's about people who think that their lives are shit because of their disease, their alcoholism, and because of the horrible mistakes that they've made and the relationships that they seemingly destroyed. So the film is directed by Michael Morris, who was supposed to be at the festival, but he actually, no joke, did test positive for COVID, and he couldn't be there for the Q&A that was scheduled, which is too bad. He's a television director who's directed some of the episodes of some of the best shows on TV, including Billions and Brothers and Sisters and Preacher, Better Call Saul. This guy's been doing a ton of work. He's married to Mary McCormack, by the way, a terrific actress who he directed on television as well. This is his first feature, and it's amazing. It's earnest, it's beautiful, it's heartfelt, it's fucking truth. I am a recovering alcoholic, and when this movie ended, it destroyed me. I wept. I was sobbing in the theater, sobbing at the end of this movie, and I literally couldn't talk to my friends, because like after the movies, usually go out to the lobby and talk to all my film critic buddies who are there running the show, and we get to talk and have a great time. By the way, it's so great to see these guys again. I've been holed up for a long time, and just on the simplest of levels, it's fucking amazing to be hanging out with my friends and my colleagues and my film critic buddies just to shoot the shit and talk about movies. Anyway, I couldn't talk to them. I had to leave the theater. I left the theater after 2 Leslie, and I had to take a walk around the block a little bit and cry. I was outside walking down Southport blowing my nose. People thought I was insane. But the movie destroyed me. So it's an amazing film. It is absolutely accurate. It's absolutely truthful. It is a beautiful, stunning, remarkable, devastating film about fucking up your life, about alcoholism, about relationships that you screw up, and about redemption, and about second chances. It's astonishingly good. It's a great film, and I will not see a better performance by anybody better than Andrea Riseborough. Andrea Riseborough, who's appeared here and there in a lot of movies. She was in Birdman. She's been in a bunch of stuff. Usually plays weirdos, and she's on the fringe. This is her first true lead performance. It's the best performance I've seen all year. I won't see a better performance. And she's amazing. Andrea Riseborough. Unbelievable performance. Astonishing, great, heartbreaking, beautiful, truthful, achingly real on every level. 2 Leslie, one of the best movies of the year, and somehow it doesn't have a distributor. Somehow it's not being distributed. I don't know. That needs to be fixed. If you're watching this video and you have connections to people to distribute movies, fucking how this movie is not distributed right now, how it doesn't have a distributor, how it doesn't have a deal with even a streaming service. But this is a movie that needs to be, it must be seen. Must be seen. 2 Leslie, Andrea Riseborough. Best performance of the year. One of the most heartbreaking, devastating, and beautiful films I've seen in a long, long time. Seriously, I couldn't speak afterwards. It's fucking amazing. To Leslie. And then the last one I saw was Emily the Criminal. Last night, saw that. And that stars Aubrey Plaza, the great, weirdo, wonderful comedic actress Aubrey Plaza. And this is a complete change of pace for her. Now, it's an okay movie. It's not great. She's the best thing in it. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely, the movie is absolutely worth seeing. It's really good and it's worth seeing. It's about a girl who has got like over 70 grand in debt in like student loans and other things, and she's pretty desperate for dough. She works for like a catering service, a restaurant / catering service delivery, DoorDash delivery kind of service. Not making any money, hating it, hating her life. She has 2 idiot roommates that she can't stand. Her life is shitty. She's $70,000 in debt. So out of desperation, she starts a credit card fraud scam and starts working with some really sketchy people. Where she has fake credit cards and is stealing things and blah, blah, blah. So she becomes a criminal to pay off her debts. Now, we've seen this kind of stuff before. Everybody in the movie is sort of, we've seen these kind of characters before, this criminal sort of element, this credit card fraud kind of thing, this scary situation. But Aubrey Plaza, who's never played a role like this ever, and she's a producer on this movie, is great. It's a great performance, unlike anything you've ever seen her do. Mostly she's wide-eyed and weird. You know her from Parks and Rec and all the other stuff that she does. And her, her talk show appearances. She's a wonderfully fucking weird, quirky, crazy chick. But in this movie, she's a badass. She shows serious dramatic chops and desperation. She's also sexy as hell in this movie. I've always found her cute and attractive and stuff, but man, in this movie, whoo! Anyway, it's a great departure for Aubrey Plaza, and if you're a fan of hers because of her comedy and her quirkiness and her awesomeness, and you should be a fan because Aubrey Plaza rules the planet and she's great in everything she does, this is a huge departure for her. She's the best thing in it. It's a great, serious, dramatic, badass performance. So, Emily the Criminal, really, it's a good movie with a great performance by Aubrey Plaza. So there you go. 6 movies, 5 out of 6 I really like. A couple of them I loved, and I'm going back again. This festival rules, okay? You can go to musicboxtheater.com. Tickets are on sale all the way through Thursday. And I will be there today seeing 4 movies, and then I'll be back tomorrow for the 25th anniversary screening in 35mm. Like I'm going to miss Boogie Nights again on the big screen. But anyway, congratulations to the guys and the ladies at the Chicago Film Critics Association, of which I'm a proud member. And congratulations on doing a great film festival. So, more movies to review, more reports from the festival coming up. But go, man. Check it out. Get your tickets. Check out the schedule. musicboxtheater.com through 19th of May. So check it out. All right. Thank you. Enjoy the veal.